welcome to Weed News at 420's Stoner Super Shorts. This episode is what you might have missed this week in the wonderful world of weed.
I know not everybody's able to keep their eyes out on all the weed news that is available at the same time, so I compiled a bunch of news stories that are weed related, and here they are.
And it was called Proposition BB, and it allows the state to keep $66 million in surplus taxes from marijuana sales at pot shops like this one, Lodo Wellness Center. You can see the pot crop is thriving here in this grow room right here. Now the state is starting to distribute those excess funds. One program marijuana taxes will be used for is bully prevention. Each school awarded the bully prevention grant will get $40,000 per year. That's per school. Those funds are set to be awarded in December and then distributed right after the new year on January 20th.
But it's more than just teachers doing lessons. It's about changing the culture of the school so that it's a warm environment, so it's somewhere that bullying can't thrive.
Prop BB is really cool because all the people decided to vote it in and help out the kids for the future. It's pretty awesome. Maybe that'll make it easier for these kids to want to become registered voters. This next video comes out of Ohio, where they're having all kinds of trouble getting people to agree on medical marijuana.
Members of the Franklin City Council gave preliminary approval last night to a one-year moratorium. A final vote is scheduled October 3rd. Ohio became the 26th state to legalize marijuana for medical use. Leaders in Liberty and Ross Townships, Middletown, and Hamilton have all taken temporary steps to ban sales.
However, if those towns were to band together to promote the sale of it, they would have healthier, happier citizens, more money for road work, more money for schools, sporting events. Who knows what they could do? This next clip is from Fox News, and it's got a couple good parts in it. The best part is probably whenever Chelsea Clinton puts her foot in her mouth saying that weed kills, as well as a nice little debate that you gotta check out.
Starting today, it is now legal to buy pot for recreational use in Oregon. Almost 2 years after Oregon voters cast ballots legalizing recreational marijuana, the first dozen shops licensed to sell it are now open for business. State regulators have licensed dozens of recreational producers and testing labs to stock the shelves. Medical marijuana stores in Oregon opened last year.
And pot became an issue for the Clinton campaign this week out on the trail. It wasn't Bill who had his own famous marijuana moment back in 1992. While courting young voters, Chelsea Clinton said new evidence suggests marijuana could fatally interact with other drugs. Marijuana advocates jumped on Chelsea's comments, forcing the Clinton campaign to walk them back, saying Chelsea, quote, misspoke. And marijuana just isn't an issue for the candidates. It is actually on the ballot in 9 separate states. 4 states will ask voters if marijuana should be legalized for medical use, and 5 other states have provisions about legalized recreational use as well. Here for a fair and balanced discussion on the issue, Keith Strop, founder and legal counsel for NORML, David Evans, advisor to the Drug-Free American Foundation, author of Drug Testing Law and Technology. Gentlemen, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Keith, I'll start with you, since you all are the ones who want to change the law here. Is this a moral argument or is this a legal argument in these 9 states?
Oh, I think it's essentially a criminal justice reform issue. We still arrest more than 600,000 Americans every year in this country on marijuana charges, and 90% of those arrests are for possession only. So we're needlessly destroying the lives and careers of literally millions of Americans for no good reason. So I think the issue really is a criminal justice reform issue.
And David, speaking of criminal justice reform, something the White House has talked a lot about, and certainly as we've seen our police departments across this country overtaxed, whether it be in Baltimore or in Chicago, as the murder rates skyrocket in places like St. Louis, where I grow up. Is there a point to be made that police officers have more important things to deal with than whether a couple of kids are smoking some joints behind school?
Well, the narrative from the marijuana industry that marijuana arrests are a big problem for the criminal justice system is just not accurate. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I have been for 42 years. Usually when somebody is arrested for marijuana possession, they've been arrested for something else. DUI, assault, theft, that kind of thing. And when they search them, they find marijuana on them. So it's really usually incident to another arrest. Most states have provisions like New Jersey, where I'm from, where if you get picked up with a small amount of marijuana, you can get what's called a conditional discharge. If you complete the program, you wind up with no criminal record. So it's really not true that there are these thousands of people in prisons. There's the data, if you look at the FBI crime reports, less than 1% of the people in state and federal prisons are there for marijuana possession, and they're there for trafficking marijuana. For example, in the federal prison, the average amount that somebody is put in prison for
but
is
any of these laws in the 9 states that either are going to normalize laws as it relates to recreational use, making it legal for recreational use as it is in Colorado and Washington State, or add a medical marijuana provision, any of those state laws would keep the major trafficking laws around. So I'm unclear as to how these two relate to each other.
Right, but Keith's argument is that the minor possessors, the people with small amounts of marijuana, are having their lives ruined by possession of small amounts of marijuana. That's their argument. And that just absolutely isn't true.
Well, Keith, isn't part of the argument, though, also
doing any time?
It's also that those laws are applied in an unfair manner racially. For example, nationwide, blacks smoke marijuana and Hispanics smoke marijuana at the same rate as whites, yet blacks and Hispanics are arrested at a minimum of 4 times as frequently. So, yes, it is true that in some of the major cities, they have gotten less harsh on how they treat marijuana smokers if you're white and middle class. But if you're a minority, they don't.
Keith, but what I haven't heard from you the argument.
I don't think Keith's aware of a recent study from the Colorado Department of Public Safety showing that since legalization, marijuana-related arrests of black and Hispanic youth increased sharply in the 2 years following legalization. So legalization in Colorado has not been a panacea
hold on.
for that problem.
Is this
if there's racism involved, that you deal with the racism, not make a drug legal.
Right, Keith. I guess that's the central question here. Is this an issue about laws being poorly enforced that we already have, or is this an issue of people have an inherent right to use marijuana, especially adults, as they have a right to use alcohol and tobacco, especially knowing how dangerous tobacco is for your health? What's the argument here?
When we started NORML in 1970, the Gallup polling group had just asked for the first time how many Americans favor legalized marijuana. It was only 12%. Today, between 55 and 61%, depending on which of 6 national polls you look at, they've reached a conclusion that marijuana prohibition causes more harm than the use of the drug itself. We do not want the government coming into our house to know what books we read, what music we listen to, how we conduct ourselves in the bedroom, or whether we smoke marijuana or drink alcohol when we relax in the evening. It is simply none of their business.
David, why is it the government's business?
This argument is about the creation of a big marijuana industry, just like big tobacco. I don't believe anything that the marijuana industry tells me, just like I do not believe anything the tobacco industry tells me.
David, I'm not with the industry. I'm with a consumer group.
Yes, you are. You speak for the industry. They donate to your organization.
I speak for NORML, and NORML represents marijuana consumers.
Keith, let me
we are
speak
not
and
in
my
the industry.
Point. They donate to your organization. They're financing these initiatives. The marijuana industry is financing this. You know fully well that that's the case.
Well, gentlemen,
and they are going to be aiming their advertising at children. They're going to be selling marijuana gummy bears. There are going to be all kinds of edible products.
David, get ready.
We're probably going to gentlemen. Now that you're both talking, David. Now that you're both talking, I don't have to give either one of you the last word. We'll leave it there. Appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks so much.
Sounds like somebody needs to get out in the world and see what's really going on. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weed News at 420's first episode of Stoner Super Shorts. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a comment in the box below and hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe and share us with your friends. Have a lovely day.